Sally, playing Benedict. We're going to do Act 2, Scene 3 for Much Ado About Nothing. Here we go.
I'm Tyler. I'll be playing Claudio and Balthazar.
I'm Pat, playing Don Pedro.
I'm Casey. I'm playing Boy and Leonardo.
Thank you.
Boy! Signor? In my chamber window lies a book. Bring it hither to me in the orchard.
I'm here already, sir.
I know that, but I'll have thee hence and here again. I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he has laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there was no music with him but the drum and the fife, and now hath he with him but the tabor and the pipe. I have known when he would have walked 10 miles afoot to see a good armor, and now will he lie 10 nights awake, carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier, and now he's turned orthography. His words are a very fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. May I be so converted and see with these eyes? Cannot tell. I think not. I will not be sworn. But love may transfer me to an oyster. But I'll take my oath on it. Till he hath made an oyster of me, he shall never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another is wise, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. But till all graces be in one woman shall not come in my grace. Rich she shall be, that's certain. Wise, or I'll none. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Mild, or come not near me. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician. And her hair shall be what color, please God? Ha! The prince in whom's your love. I'll hide you in the arbor.
Come, shall we hear this music?
Oh, yea, my good lord. How still the evening is. As hushed on purpose to grace harmony.
See where Benedict hath hid himself?
Oh, very well, my lord. The music ended. We'll fit the kid fox with a pennyworth.
Come, Balthazar. We'll hear the song again.
Oh, my good lord. Tax not so bad a voice to slander music any more than once.
It is the witness still of excellency to put a strange face on his own perfection. I pray thee sing, and let me woe no more.
Because you talk of wooing, I will sing. Since many a wooer doth commence his suit to her he thinks not worthy, yet he woos. Yet will he swear he loves.
Now pray thee come, or if thou wilt hold longer argument, do it in notes.
Note this before my notes. There's not a note of mine that's worth the noting.
Why, these are very crotches that he speaks. Note, notes, forsooth, and nothing.
Now, divine air, now is his soul ravished. Is it not strange as ship's guts shed pale souls out of men's bodies? Well, I'll horn for my money when all's done.
Sigh no more, lady, sigh no more. Men were deceivers never, one foot in sea, and one on shore, to one thing constant never, then sigh no more, but let them go. And be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into a nonny nonny. Sing no more, ditty, sing no more of all the darling heavy, the fraud of man was ever so, since summer first was leave, then sigh not so, but let them go, and be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into hey nonny nonny. Let's just turn that on. An ill singer, my lord.
No, Faith, thou singest well enough for a shift.
And he had been a dog that should have helped us. They would have hanged him, and I pray God his bad boys bode no mischief. I as lief have heard the night raven. Come what plague could have come after.
Yea, Mary, doth hear Balthazar. I pray thee, get some excellent music for tomorrow night. We would have it at Lady Hero's chamber window.
The best I can, my lord.
Do so, farewell. Come hither, Leonardo. What was it you told me? What was it you told me of today? Your niece Beatrice was in love with Senor Benedict?
Oh, hey, stalk on, the fowl sits. I did never think that lady would have loved any man.
No, nor I neither. But most wonderful, most wonderful that she should so dote on Signor Benedict, whom she hath in all outward behaviors seemed to ever abhor. Is it possible? Is this the wit in that corner? By my troth, my lord, I cannot tell what to think of it, but that she loves him with an enraged affection, it is past the infinite of thought.
Maybe she doth but counterfeit?
Faith like enough.
Oh God, counterfeit? There was never counterfeit of enraged passion that came so near the life of passion as she discovers it.
Why? What effects of passion shows she?
Bait the hook well, the fish will bite.
What effects, my lord? She will sit on you. You heard my daughter tell you how.
She did indeed.
How? How? Pray you. You amaze me. I would have thought her spirit had been invincible against assaults of perfection.
I would have sworn it had, my lord, especially against Benedict. I should think this is a foe, but that the white-bearded fellow speaks it, never cannot sure had himself in such reverence.
He hath attained the infection. Hold it up.
Has she made her affection known to Benedict?
No, and swears she never will. That's her torment.
'Tis true indeed. So your daughter says, shall I, says she, that have no oft encountered him with scorn, write to him that I love him.
This says she now when she is beginning to write to him, for she'll be up 20 times a night, and there she will sit in her smock till she have writ a sheet of paper. My daughter tells us all.
Now you talk of a sheet of paper. I remember a pretty jest your daughter told us of.
Oh, when she had writ it and was reading it over, she found Benedict and Beatrice between the sheets.
That?
Oh, she tore the letter into 1,000 halfpence, railed at herself that she should be so immodest to write one that she knew would flout her. I measure him, says she, by my own spirit, for I should flout him if he writ to me. Yea, though I love him, I should.
Then down upon her knees she falls, weeps and sobs, beats her heart, and tears her hair, prays, curses. Oh, sweet Benedict, God give me strength.
Indeed, my daughter says so, and the ecstasy hath so much overborne her that my daughter is sometime afeard she will do a desperate outrage to herself. It is very true.
It were good that Benedict knew of it by some others, if she would not discover it.
To what end? He would make but a sport of it, and torment the poor lady worse.
And he should. It were an alms to hang him. She's an excellent sweet lady, and out of all suspicion, she is virtuous.
And she is exceeding wise.
And everything but loving Benedict.
Oh, my lord, wisdom and blood combating in so tender a body. We have 10 proofs to 1 that blood hath the victory. I am sorry for her. I have just caused being her uncle and her guardian.
I would she had bestowed this dotage on me. I would have daffed all other respects and made her half myself. I pray you tell Benedict of it, and hear what will say.
Were good, think you?
Oh, well, Hero thinks surely she will die. For she says she will die if he love her not. And she will die ere she make her love known. and she will die if he woo her, rather than she will bate one breath of her accustomed crossness.
She doth well. If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit.
Oh, he is a very proper man.
He hath indeed a good outward happiness.
Before God and in my mind, very wise.
He doth indeed show some sparks that are like wit.
And I take him to be valiant.
As Hector, I assure you, and in the managing of quarrels, you may see he is wise, for either he avoids them with great discretion, or undertakes them with a most Christian-like fear.
If he do fear God, it must necessarily keep peace. If he break the peace, he ought to enter into a quarrel with fear and trembling.
And so will he do, for the man doth fear God, howsoever it seems not in him by some large jest he will make. Well, I'm sorry for your niece. Shall we go seek Benedict and tell him of her love?
Oh, never tell him, my lord. Let her wear it out with good counsel.
That's impossible. She may wear her heart out first.
Well, we will hear further of it by your daughter. Let it cool for the while. I love Benedict well, and I could wish he would modestly examine himself to see how much he is unworthy so good a lady.
My lord, will you walk? Dinner is ready.
Well, if he not dote upon her upon this, I will never trust my expectation.
Let there be the same net spread for her, and that must your daughter and her gentlewoman carry. The sport will be when they hold one an opinion of another's dotage, and no such matter. That's the scene that I would see, which will be merely a done show. Let us send her to call him into dinner.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. It seems her affections have their full bent. Love me. They say I will bear myself proudly if I perceive the love come from her. They say too that she will rather die than give any sign of affection. I do never think to marry. I must not seem proud. Happy are they that they hear their distractions and can put them to mending. They say the lady is fair, which is a truth. I cannot bear no witness, and virtuous, 'tis so, I cannot reprove it. And wise, but for loving me, at my troth, it is no addition to her for her wit, nor no great argument of her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may chance have some odd quirks and remnants of wit broken on me, but I have railed so long against marriage. Was death not the appetite altered? A man loves to meet in his youth, and that he cannot endure in his age. Shall quips and sentences of these pimped bullets of the brain awe a man from the career of his humor? No, the world must be peopled. When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I should live till I were married. Here comes Beatrice. By this day, she's a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love.
Against my will, I am sent to make you come to dinner.
Here, Beatrice, I thank you for your pains.
I took no more pains for those thanks than you take pains to thank me. If it had been painful, I would not have come.
Did you take pleasure then in the message?
Yea, just so much as you take upon a nice point and a choke with a dull withal. You have no stomachs in your fare you will.
Half against my will, I am sent to bid you to come to dinner. The devil meaning in that. I took no more pains for those thanks, and you take pains to thank me. That's as much to say any pains that I take for you is as easy as thanks. If I do not take pity of her, I am a villain. If I do not love her, I am a Jew. I will look at her picture.
You lie in faith, for you were called Plain Kate and Bonnie Kate, and sometimes Kate the Cursed. But Kate, the prettiest Kate in Christendom, Kate of Kate, my super dainty Kate, for dainties are all Kates, and therefore Kate, take this of me, Kate of my constellation, hearing thy mildness praised in every town, thy virtue spoke of, and thy beauty sounded, yet not so deeply as to thee belongs myself, and moved to woo thee for my wife.
Moved in good time, let him that moved you hither remove you hence. I knew you at first, you were immovable.
Why, what's immovable?
A joint stool.
Thou hast come sit on me.
Asses are made fair, and so are you.
Huh?
Women are made to bear, and so are you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
in order
morning.
to be successful in a marriage, a woman must understand that her husband is her main priority. She must learn to control her fiery personality in favor of her husband. I am here today to teach you all how to take an intimidating woman and shape her into a woman any man would want to marry. Today you will learn how to tame a shrew.
Mary, sweet Catherine in thy bed, and therefore setting all this chat aside, thus in plain terms your father hath consented that you shall be my wife. You dowry agreed on, will you, nill you, I will marry you. Now, Kate, I am a husband for your turn. For by this light whereby I see thy beauty that doth make me like thee, while thou must be married to no man but me. For I am he born to tame you, Kate, and bring you from a wild Kate to a Kate conformable as other household Kates.
This is the appointed day that Catherine and Petruchio should be married, and yet we hear not of our son-in-law. What will be said? What mockery will it be to want the bridegroom when the priest attends to speak the ceremonial rites of the marriage?
No shame of mine, I must forsooth be forced to give my hand opposed against my heart unto a mad-brained rood be full of spleen, who wooed in haste, and means to wed in leisure. I told you he was a frantic fool, hiding his bitter jests and blunt behavior. Now must the world point at poor Catherine and say, lo, there's Mad Petruchio's wife, if you please to come and marry her.
Patience, good Catherine, with that Petruchio. Upon my life, Petruchio means but well. Whatever fortune stays him from his words, though he be blunt, I know him passing wise. Though he be married, yet withal he's honest. Go, girl, I cannot blame thee now to weep, for such an ingrate would vex a very saint, much more a shrew of the impatient humor.
And as Petruchio knows, this is a way to kill a wife with kindness, and thus will curb her mad and headstrong humor. He knows that better how to tame a shrew. Now let him speak this charity to show. Step 1, starve your shrew.
Come, Kate, and welcome heartily, you horse and villain. Will you let it fall? Patience, I pray you, 'twas a fault unwilling.
Patience, I pray you, 'twas a fault unfilling.
A horse and beetle-headed, flip-eared knave. Come, Kate, sit down. I know you have a stomach. Will you give thanks, sweet Kate, or else shall I? What's this, mutton?
I pray you, husband, be so disquiet. The meat was well if you were contented.
I tell thee, Kate, 'twas burnt and dried away, and I excessively am forbid to touch it. Be patient. Tomorrow shall be mended, and for this night will fast for company. Come, I will bring thee to thy bridal chamber.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Thus he has politically begun his reign, and this my hope to end successfully. She ate no meat today, nor none shall eat. Last night she slept not, nor tonight she shall not. He intends that this is done in reverent care of her. Step number 2, keep your shrew from sleeping.
I'm up.
The third and final step to taming your shrew is depriving her of the finer things in life.
Thy gown, why aye, come, tailor, let us see, oh mercy God, what masking stuff is this? What's this, a sleeve? 'Tis like a demi-cannon, well up and down carved like an apple tart, here snip and nip and cut and slish and slash, like to a center in a barber shop. Why, what's a devil's name, Taylor? Come, how's this?
I never saw a better fashioned gown. More quaint, more pleasing, nor more commendable. Be like you mean, make a puppet of me.
Well,
We got
come.
stuck!
Well, come, my Kate. We will unto your feathers, even in these honest mean habiliments. Our purses shall be proud, our garments poor, for 'tis the mind that makes the body rich.
And so, Petruchio followed the 3 steps to taming his shrew. Let's see how Katerina turns out.
I bid thee 20 pounds, my wife will come out.
I bid $40, my wife will come out.
Bid 80 pounds that my wife will come out.
I bid 100 pounds, my wife will come out.
Benilio, come hither.
Yes, sir.
Go fetch thee thy wife.
Yes, sir. Bianca, your husband summons you.
Tell him I'm talking to my sister. I'll be there later.
Yes, we'll do.
How now, what news?
Sir, my mistress sends you word that she is busy and cannot come.
She's busy. Is that an excuse? Say I command her to come to me.
Yes, sir. Katerina, your husband awaits for you.
Fie, fie, unknit and unthreatening, unkind brow, and dart not scornful glances from those eyes to wound thy lord, thy king, thy governor. It blots thy beauty as frosts do bite the meads, confounds thy fame as whirlwinds shake their fair buds, and in no sense is meet or amiable. Thy husband is thy lord, thy life, thy keeper, thy head, thy sovereign, one that cares for thee, and for thy maintenance commits his body to painful labor, both by sea and land, to watch the night and the storms, the day and cold, whilst thou liest warm at home, secure and safe, and craves no other tribute at thy hands but love, fair looks and true obedience, too little payment for such great debt, such duty as a subject owes the prince. Even such a woman oweth to her husband, and when she is froward, peevish, sullen, sour, and not obedient to his honest will, what is she but a foul wench, and graceless traitor to her loving lord? I am ashamed that women are so simple to offer war where they should kneel for peace, to seek for rule, supremacy, and sway, when they are bound to serve, love, and obey. Why are our bodies soft and weak and smooth, unapt to toil and trouble in the world, but that our soft conditions and our hearts should well agree with our external parts? Come, you forward and unable worms, my mind hath been as big as one of yours, my heart as great, and reason haply more, to bandy for thy word, and frown for frown. But I see our lances are but straws. Place your hands below your husband's foot. In a token of duty, if which he pleases, my hand is ready. May it do him ease.
And this a wonder, by your leave, she will be tamed so. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you tame a shrew.
So I did my paper on the manifestation of madness in Hamlet, and initially I kind of devised a thesis that madness was like a subconscious response triggered by the mind when it's unable to cope with the stressors plaguing it. However, as I researched it more and more, I came to kind of see it as a blanket term. So it's really kind of hard to diagnose madness because it's more of a blanket term for all the different mental illnesses. And so my thesis ended up being, as presented in Hamlet, the nature of madness is a complex pathological condition subconsciously triggered by the human mind that manifests itself differently in each person afflicted depending on the circumstances enabling it to take hold. So essentially what I mean by that is, because it's a blanket term for different mental illnesses, depending on the reasons that cause it in each individual, it'll kind of take hold in that person differently. So whether it be like schizophrenia or insanity or lunacy, it presents itself differently within each person. And the way I kind of went about organizing my paper was I examined the nature of madness in two characters, and I devoted a paragraph or a section to the stressors that cause madness, and then how it manifests itself, so you can kind of see how the different causes enable different paths of it to take hold. So the two characters I investigated were Hamlet and Ophelia. Ophelia being more of the typecast model of madness, at least in the modern Western notion. And although some may argue that Hamlet wasn't actually insane, he was just feigning it, through my research I would contend that initially it may have started like that, but eventually kind of crossed the boundary. So the first person that I investigated was Hamlet, and so he was, he had just recently his father had been killed by his uncle, and then his mother was marrying his uncle. So he was deeply disturbed by that, and you can see that in just in the language, like in the this too solid flesh would melt soliloquy right after their wedding. The language is very vile, and it depicts death and suicide, and he's clearly afflicted by this. And in the Mel Gibson, the two films that I analyzed through this were the Mel Gibson and the Kenneth Branagh version, and in both versions he's clearly very afflicted. You can just see in his eyes and his face, he looks like his eyes are red, tinted with sorrow. He's very much affected by it. And then through further research, I would say the final kind of straw that really, when he pushed the boundary, was Ophelia's death. And while some may argue that he didn't actually care for her, I'd say on some level he actually did, but given the mental state he was in, it was not as apparent. And in the film versions you can kind of see this, especially because both Branagh and Gibson look like, once they learn that it is Ophelia's funeral that he's at, he looks very shocked, like his eyes, he like gasps and his eyes go wide, so he looks like he's shocked, and then he seems visibly upset, and just through the language he employs after that, like, I loved you more than 40,000 brothers, but I think is the quote, he does show genuine, that he's genuinely impacted. So, for Hamlet, I argued that through my research I kind of found that for him, his madness is more of like a mental battle within himself, kind of like a schizophrenic mental state. And you can kind of see this because he's like besieged with thoughts, prompting him in a state of like inaction and action. So he's like with the to be or not to be soliloquy, he's like battling with himself essentially, and it's preventing him from really doing anything. Yes. And yeah, in the film versions, there's some kind of interesting depictions of this. Like during the to be or not to be soliloquy in the Branagh version, he is talking with himself, but it's like over the camera's over his shoulder, so you don't actually see his face. He's looking in a mirror, and you see the mirror talking back to him, and I kind of thought that almost played on like this like schizophrenic, like he's hearing voices in his head kind of thing. It's like his reflection is talking back to him as opposed to himself actually speaking. And then arguably also as well, he experiences hallucinations, which are kind of a symptom of that affliction of his father's ghost, which I'd argue is like a manifestation of his madness. And in the film versions, what I thought was interesting was in both of them, the directors seemed to shy away from having the ghost and Hamlet in the same frame. So like it would cut back and forth between close-ups of Hamlet's face and then a close-up of the ghost's face, but it wouldn't really show them together like full body in the same frame. So almost as if the ghost wasn't really there. And then that's especially evident when he argues with his mother. And he says, you know, he sees this ghost, his father's ghost talking to him, and the mother's like, what? I don't see anything there. And in the film, you know, when she says that, then you can, when it shows all of them, there's no ghost, it's just the two of them. And for Ophelia, I argued that the reason for her madness was through her upbringing between her brother, Laertes, and Polonius. She was forced to, throughout her whole life, reflect the desires of others. So she kind of was stripped of the ability to form her own opinion. And she was, like Laertes was always trying to teach her to reject the advances of other men. And her father would kind of use her as a tool without even thinking of her own well-being. Like, for example, when he's trying to figure out the real reason for Hamlet's madness, he just offers up his daughter for to use as a tool without even really thinking about her well-being. And then after Hamlet, you know, verbally abuses her, the king and Polonius, her father, talk and debate about the causes of Hamlet's madness for about 17 lines before he actually says, "Oh, how is Ophelia?" So she kind of forms a sense of, like, a fragmented sense of self. And then when Hamlet kills her father, and, you know, that Hamlet's banished away and all that, then it's kind of, she doesn't really know what to think anymore, because she doesn't have these people telling her what to think. And so madness, I argued, manifested itself in her in kind of more of the typecast notion of what we would consider madness, like erratic behavior, and like singing and mad speech, and more of what you would kind of think was traditionally associated with the notion of madness. And with the speech, it kind of sounds like incoherent rambling, and like when the mother is trying to speak to her, Gertrude's trying to speak to her, and she like will respond back with like what at first seems to be random words, but could rather be, there's duplicity in them, or double entendre, that you can kind of sense, like when she says, "Where's the beauteous majesty of Denmark?" She could be replying to the queen, but she could also be referring to the fact that Hamlet's gone, or the state of Denmark with all the corruption. So I would argue that the madness kind of was a way for her to finally like have her own say, like kind of without crossing the boundary.
Very comprehensive. Does anyone, really comprehensive? Anyone have any questions for Matt about?
He answered all of my questions.
Exactly. I was like, what about when you had it? So it's great.
Yeah, the question of feigning madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you always been like interested in like psychology and like mental illness and stuff like that?
Not really.
No, you're not like a psychology major or anything. Okay.
Well,
Very
and
articulate.
yes,
Thanks.
very good. Psychoanalytic readings, you know, are fairly recent in terms of post-Freud, right, and post-Jung, and it sounds like you investigated a lot of psychoanalytic scholarship on this. So it's a nice focus, super well executed. Thank you.
It was like super easy. I think I should become like a playwright.